front, true believers. This is Modular Media's No Prize podcast where we talk Marvel movies, comics, merchandise, and more. I am your host, Boingo Writer, and with me, as always, in the bullpen,
representing the I have a lot of shit on my desk, but not my shelves for some reason. Competition. The Vacuuminator is here.
Oh wow, I didn't know that's what the D in DC stood for.
Oh, it stands for many things.
Does it stand for dick?
It can stand for Dick. It stands for Dick Grayson, because that's a perfectly fine and acceptable name in modern times, Dan DiDio.
He's not even working there anymore, is he?
Yeah, but
Jim Lee's in that position now, isn't he?
Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about that later tonight.
Gonna talk about that later tonight. You know what we're not gonna talk about?
We're not gonna. What aren't we gonna talk about?
So you know how we were all excited when we got rid of that no spoilers for Ant-Man 3 text?
Yeah, I remember that. That was a nice moment we shared.
So yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, you didn't get to see it, did you?
Not this week. Not this week!
Oh, well, I saw it. So, no spoiler review, everybody. It's good. I liked it. I didn't like it as much as the second one, but I thought it was better. It was pretty good. It was an apt ending. Some moments really hit hard for me. And I think most people will like it, and it seems like most people are liking it. So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can discuss it in more detail next week. Because hey, guess what? I'll be in Florida, fucker. I'm gonna kidnap you. I'm gonna take you to a movie theater, you little bitch.
Oh my god, that's such a threat.
Mhm.
Volume
I
2.
I agree with that ranking there, Buster. That's pretty good.
It seems like it's the kind of thing where it's like, sure, you could rank the volumes, but it seems like James Gunn definitely had it in his mind of it working as one continuous story.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's like saying like, oh, Act 2 is better than Act 3. It's like, yeah, but they're all part of the same story.
And I will say, if you haven't seen the holiday special yet, do watch it before this, because it's not critical, but the holiday special does set up several, like, not thematic, but just the general feel of things is very much like coming right out of the holiday special.
So we didn't watch I didn't get to watch Guardians.
Yeah.
I didn't get to watch Guardians.
You poor unfortunate soul.
Yeah, holiday special is fun anyway. Yeah, it's good. It's a good little special.
Yeah.
So what we did watch, Earth's Mightiest Heroes, Season 2, Episode 5, To Steal and Ant-Man.
Mm-hmm. You gotta steal him. You gotta steal the Ant-Man, you gotta wear the Ant-Man, you gotta become the Ant-Man, you gotta taste the Ant-Man.
Gotta put your finger right up the Ant-Man's butt.
Mm-hmm. You gotta get it all in there. You must become one with the Ant-Man. That's your mission.
So can I just say, I think this is probably one of the best episodes we've had of this so far.
Yeah, this is good shit. This is a perfect streamlining of Scott Lang's original origin.
It like I this is the first episode of this show where I'm like, yo, this could go toe to toe with the Justice League episode.
Yeah. It very much has that JLU feel of like one of the original members has a thing happen to them or they get embroiled in a thing, and so they call in two Scrimblows to help them get another Scrimblow under control.
And at the point of this show airing, Luke and Iron Fist are definitively Scrimblow.
Oh yeah. And I like how they very much play it as like, yeah, you don't know who these people are, and you don't really need to know who these people are.
Your uncle who's watching the show with you is going like, "Oh shit, Luke!"
Mm-hmm.
And you're going like, "What the fuck? That's not the guy from Star Wars."
And they also got like really interesting guys to voice them too, because the guy who voices Luke Cage is Christopher B. Duncan, who is much more known for live action roles. Like he has an extensive live action TV career as being like a bit player in a lot of stuff. But he hasn't done a whole lot of voice work. He's been in a couple of Lego Heroes movies and this, and that's it. But like
Was
he
he
is a
playing Luke Cage in those?
no, not like Lego superheroes, like Lego Hero Factory.
Oh.
Remember that sub theme?
Yeah, where they tried to make Bionicle cyberpunk.
Mm-hmm. But no, he's a solid Luke Cage in this, and you wouldn't guess that he's not a voice actor. He does a
Oh.
solid job with the role. However, the guy who voices Iron Fist is a career voice actor because Iron Fist is voiced by Lauren Lester.
That sounds familiar. Who was he?
He's DCAU Dick Grayson.
Oh.
And he was also Hal Jordan in The Brave and the Bold.
Oh. So some classic hero types.
Mhm.
Did who play Scott Lang do any? Is he just like regular Joe
No,
voice actor dude?
Scott Lang was voiced by Crispin Freeman.
What?
Yeah.
All right.
AKA fucking Viz Slave Man. And also other things. He's been
Yeah.
in a lot of stuff. He's Martian Manhunter in Justice League Action. He's fucking Roy Harper in Young Justice. He's been around, that Crispin Freeman. He's a voice actor that I think a lot of people know by name.
Yeah. But yeah, this is Scott Lang's origin. It's just a Scott Lang origin story.
And much like the comics, it is done definitively from Hank Pym's perspective. You don't really get to get into Scott's head until like just before we hit the third act.
Oh, he's killing from Haruhi Suzumiya. Fuck yeah.
Mm.
I need to finish Haruhi Suzumiya because I'm one of those fuckers who goes like, no, I need to watch the entirety of the Endless Eights.
I need to start Haruhi Suzumiya.
You're gonna be one of those fuckers who's just gonna skip the Endless Eight.
Probably.
For people who are unaware, the Endless Eight is an adaptation of like a single chapter in the light novels where they repeat the same day of summer over and over again like 10,000 times. And in order to do that, they adapted that one story 8 episodes. It's the same script, they just do very minor modifications, and it's wild.
One of the most psychotically brilliant ways to conserve budget I've ever seen.
But it's also like that. It's probably what doomed them to not get another season.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, Hell. How you doing,
Yeah,
Hell?
we got a pretty active chat tonight. We got Buster, we got Aki, we got Hell. It's the gang's all here to talk about Ant-Man.
To talk about good old Scrimblow Ant-Man.
My boy Scott Lang, fucking stealing and dealing and fighting and mighting for his daughter. For my daughter, I gotta save my daughter.
Yeah, and the second Hank is like, "Oh shit, you're doing this altruistically," he's like, "No, fuck it, we're working. I'm gonna help you. I don't give a
Yeah.
shit that you stole it. Like, we can solve that later. A person's life's in danger," which is like that's pure Hank to me. It's like, is he gets myopically focused in on the details, and that's what drives him up a wall.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Like, and they get you and they introduce you to that pretty well at the beginning of the episode, where he's just cleaning up his lab and not paying any attention to Janet as she's like practically on her hands and knees begging him to come back.
because Janet sees like he can do good, but Hank can only see the bad he's committed.
Mm.
And with Scott, he sees like a person who is able to just do the good, you know?
Yeah. By the way, Cassie and Janet are voiced by the same lady.
I mean, hey, they're probably not going like, oh, we're gonna dive deep into Scott Lang's interpersonal drama. There's like, we just
Yeah.
need to introduce Cassie.
This show's not going to go 10 seasons. We're not going to see Cassie become Stature. However, it is funny because this is the first time I looked up that voice actress. Can you take a guess who it is?
It's not Tara Strong.
No, it is Colleen O'Shaughnessy,
That
who
sounds so fucking
I
familiar.
know as Ino from Naruto, but
Oh!
she's also the voice of Tails from Sonic and Sora from Digimon.
I can totally hear Sora.
Mm-hmm.
Haruhi didn't get a season 2, not because of Endless 8, but more because paparazzi. Oh, typical bullshit. Yeah.
Oh, I love Japan.
I
And just to
also
round
imagine
out,
Endless 8 didn't help with the sponsors, though.
or like viewership. But also, just to round out voice actor talk, Darren Cross, or actually it's William Cross, as Crossfire is in this, and I think he's a much better choice than Darren Cross because Darren Cross, like he is Scott Lang's archenemy, but he's also just a purple version of the Hulk, and that's not as interesting as like mob boss businessman with a cool eyepiece who is basically Deadshot. Um, and he is voiced by Neil Ross in this. And Neil Ross is a fucking like journeyman classic voice actor who's known for like a bunch of 80s shit. Like he played several different Transformers and several different G.I. Joes. And he's had a ton of bit parts since then. He was the Green Goblin in the 90s Spider-Man show. He
Oh,
was
hell
Doctor
yeah.
Doom and Kang in the Fantastic Four 90s cartoon. He was Fin Fang Foom and Howard Stark in the 90s Iron Man cartoon. This man has been around. And
Yeah.
he's just here doing this one-off villain. Oh, also he was Nightcrawler in Pride of the X-Men.
Oh, the one that's weird and shitty.
Yeah.
That's the one where Wolverine's Australian.
Mm-hmm. But no, this is the voice of Shipwreck, Dusty, Springer, and Slag in here as just a one-off villain man.
Yeah, he played one off Illsman really, really good.
Yeah, it's one of the things I've really enjoyed about this show is just learning the weird voice actor choices it made because it's rarely like people that you're like, oh yeah, that guy, but you dig in and you're like, oh, that guy.
No, Wolverine being Australian doesn't make sense. You gotta remember, Canada was the Wild West for just as long as America was. Canada's wild and untamed.
Aki, that's a pretty weird take, but also I don't care. This episode.
This episode, Luke and Iron Fist was just phenomenal.
Yeah,
You immediately got the right banter. The tone of them was correct, and it was a perfect way to create the jive talking classic Luke Cage for a modern audience kids
like
without making him like a gangster or anything.
he's just wearing the normal street clothes, and all he really cares about is not getting disrespected and getting paid. Anything else, he's like, whatever, man, as long as it gets the job done. Like he'll make fun of Danny's weird mystic shit, but he's also like, I mean, if it works, it works.
Yeah. Like, and that's a really good, that's Luke Cage. Where's my money, honey?
Friggin' the last line of the episode is just, where do I send your bill?
Which is just phenomenal. It's good.
I imagine Hank sent the bill to Tony.
Oh, he probably. And we're talking about like this is the Scott Lang origin. It gets all the beats of like, oh, kids in danger, former thief, you know. Taskmaster and Black Ant would be like a if you just want to do like cops and robbers, Tom and Jerry ass adventures. Taskmaster, Black Ant versus Luke Cage and Iron Fist.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, we've often theorized about getting those actors back in the MCU, doing a Heroes for Hire show with those two actors, and then making an MCU Black Ant and bringing in Taskmaster. Ooh,
See, here's
could
the
be a
thing.
good time.
I wouldn't bring back that Taskmaster. I would have all the tech from the Taskmaster helmet go to the guy who it is in the comics.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, like, you could facilitate that via Taskmaster being in, what is it?
New World Order,
Thunderbolts.
Thunderbolts.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Like, that's a post-credit scene right
Yeah. Like, the helmet gets knocked off in a fight scene, and then this guy from fucking Brooklyn goes like, hey, yo, look at this helmet I found.
there. Hmm.
Because remember, Taskmaster's from New York. He's a working class man. That man talks with a fucking New York accent. So whenever he's walking and talking, being badass, remember, he's talking like a fucking New Yorker.
Hmm.
And also, imagine every episode, like every issue or episode ends with Luke Cage breaking Black Ant because he's a robot.
Yeah.
And then Taskmaster and Black Ant go like, we'll get you next time, and they run away.
Proper 80s cartoon shit. I love it.
But like I was saying, it's very much an origin for Scott Lang. It hits all the notes. This is also the beginning of the origin for Yellow Jacket.
Yeah, because while I was looking for the voice actors on this, I did see that, like, because the site I use to check voice actors lists all their roles independently for a show. So I saw this guy, I saw Wally Wingard listed as Ant-Man, as Hank Pym, and as Yellow Jacket. So I was like, okay, I guess Yellow Jacket's happening.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we saw a little bit of that with the gun because that's Yellow Jacket's main thing. It's like he has the shrinky gun. And you see, while he's having a breakdown, the Yellow Jacket staring at him.
Oh, yeah.
One thing
Does Scott ever come back, though? Is this like his one appearance in the show? Since
I think he does come back because there is an episode later on where the Avengers are like out of commission somehow. And so all the heroes they helped out throughout have to come and like be the new Avengers. So it's Luke Cage, Iron Fist, Wolverine, Spider-Man, and I'm pretty sure Scott Lang.
Nice. Yeah. Okay. And I mean, this is a solid introduction to him. There's not like a whole lot that like makes you go like, oh, I want to see Scott Lang's adventures now. But it's like you set him up as Ant-Man pretty quickly and succinctly.
You also give him a fun status quo that is reminiscent of his comic status quo. For a long while, it's not a status quo now, but of being like that kind of like helping out the little guy, crime consultant, superhero consultant dude.
Because doesn't Luke offer him a job at the end of the episode?
I think Iron Fist offers him a job, and Luke is just going like, Hank, our money.
We gotta split the check freeways now. Oh no.
Don't worry, I'll shrink down and I'll eat very little, and then I can get big again, and it'll keep me full.
And then Hank's just like, that's not how that works.
Can I stay shrunken down and digest and then be good?
You'll have to stay shrunken down all the time, and I don't know if that's healthy.
I mean, hey, it worked with the money bag.
That's true.
It could work with food in his belly. It should work with his food in his belly anyway. He has food in his digestive system, and it grows and shrinks with him.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. You're very right. Look at you.
It's not like the poop.
Ivan
It's not
Reitman.
like he just like the poop is full size when he shrinks, and it just.
That's a horrible parody comic waiting to happen.
That's how he flies. He shrinks down and just.
Oh my god.
Oh, there was one thing I really wanted to mention. The background artist or the background crew for this episode did a phenomenal job.
Oh yeah.
It's super gritty, super grungy, perfect for the story they're telling.
Feels very real and down to earth today on No Price Poop.
You say that like we don't make poop jokes on the regular.
Welcome to the Poop Prize Podcast, where everything is poop.
Make sure you eat good food so you have good poops.
I eat nice healthy proteins.
I eat marshmallows.
Oh no.
But like taken from the slide we've been shown to show like the episode we're talking about, the hotel room was just gorgeous. Like there was dust in the air, the red spackle and splattering. It's just like it's really evocative of a down, dirty, dingy motel room that a guy down in his luck would be staying in.
Yeah.
It's really good.
It's a solid episode. EMH rarely disappoints.
No, like here's the thing: it rarely disappoints, but it also doesn't get to the highs that a lot of people agree are in Justice League and Justice League Unlimited.
Mm-hmm. It rarely disappoints, but it also rarely floors. It's always just nicely in the middle there.
Yeah, and I think if it had more time, it would have reached more highs. Because like as we've been watching, the more we watch, the better it gets, because they're going like, okay, we understand the characters, we understand how we can interlock things, we understand the stories we can tell more.
Yeah.
You know?
Gotta keep it flowing, gotta keep growing, gotta keep going.
Let the spice flow.
Mm-hmm. Oh man. Are you excited for Dune Part 2?
I didn't even watch Doomed Part 1.
See, I've been reading the books, and I'm looking forward to watching all the adaptations. I'm gonna watch them all because I've heard there's good things about each of them.
I'm just waiting for the Worm Man to show up and everyone go like, why the fuck is there a Worm Man?
Oh, I think they're getting close to that.
No, it's in a later novel. It's not in the first book.
Which one is it in? Which one?
It's like the third one of the series.
Oh. Oh yeah. I did just read that one.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The like big fucking emperor.
Mm-hmm.
The new Dune kicks ass. Lynch's
Doom kind of ass.
Oh, it's kind of ass? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Aki likes Lynch's Doom, and the new Dune is kind of ass. Interesting.
Huh. Curious.
That's Aki, you've always got the oddest off the beaten path takes.
Well, here's the thing. The tweet is a little unfortunate because it's a little inaccurate now. Writers Guild of America has voted to unanimously call a strike. Oh, I thought it was saying preemptively. Yeah, no, they're striking. Writers Guild is striking.
Yeah, the Writers Guild of America is on strike as of Monday. Essentially, they're asking for the pay to be adjusted. We're in the news now, by the way, everybody. I hope you caught on to that drift. They're asking for better residual pay and pay in general for streaming content because they've been getting gypped on that for quite a while. Because when the last union agreement was written was when streaming just meant like dinky little YouTube shows.
Yeah.
And they're also trying to get protection against AI taking over.
And I also imagine they're trying to put in some protecting of like, hey, you can't just cancel a show after 3 years and not air it, like, and take it off your streaming service.
Yeah,
to avoid paying residuals.
All that kind of stuff. And obviously, this is going to affect a lot of the stuff we talk about. No idea how much exactly, but the last writer strike in 08, was it?
I think it was 07, 08. Like, into 07, beginning of 08. And it only lasted like 4 months.
It lasted 100 days. But because it lasted that long and held up productions of things for that long, there was a weird period there where everything coming out was either unscripted reality TV shit or really poorly written shit by inexperienced writers or slapped together by actors and directors. Or you had Conan O'Brien filling time on TV by spinning his wedding ring on his desk.
Yeah. Hope the guild wins and kills the MCU as well. Why the fuck would it kill the MCU? They want to write for the MCU!
Aki, why do you come here? Every time we talk about a news story that could negatively affect the MCU, Aki's just like, I hope that shit dies. I hope that's the point of the fucking podcast, brother. Man. But
Disney
yeah.
showrunners forced to work despite WG fines for doing so. Ew.
Yeah, we're going to start getting into effects of the writer's strike here, how it directly affects the stuff we talk about. Basically, Disney put out a memo on the 2nd saying, um, we want you to continue your showrunner duties that do not involve writing throughout the strike, which is kind of scummy because a lot of showrunner duties do involve writing, and asking them to come and basically stand around on set to do the other duties, which only come up occasionally, is just pulling them away from the strike. It's a
It's
shitty,
also
underhanded tactic.
It's also telling them to be scabs.
Yeah.
Which is no good, and it's jeopardizing their job, and it's like, you shouldn't. Yeah, fuck Disney.
Okay, Aki, the point of the podcast is comics, but also, like, the MCU is the draw, so we're not supposed to say that the point is the comics.
It's almost the line is comics, movies, merchandise, and more.
Oh man, let's continue on with this shitty escapade.
Yeah. And I don't think it needs to go without mention. We do support the Writers Guild. What they're doing is good.
Oh yeah, I put out a tweet on Modular the day.
Yeah, but I'm just saying yeah. Marvel Blade reboot shuts down due to writer strike. That's totally fair, understandable. It was super in pre-production. It's fine.
Yeah, and remember, they brought in like 3 or 4 different dudes to write it so far, so they were already having trouble getting this thing off the ground, and it had already held up several other MCU projects. So it seems like we might have, like, I don't think the MCU is going to die, but I think we're going to see like a huge delay in the MCU again.
And they were already slowing down production on a lot of things because it's like, okay, cool, we don't have to suffocate ourselves for Chapek. Sweet. Because remember, a lot of the glut of Marvel content was because Chapek wanted to bolster Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Is doing a solid service.
Also, welcome to the chat, Drake. I don't think we've seen you in quite a while.
Hello. Marvel's Thunderbolts and Deadpool 3 will reportedly start filming to start WGA strike. This isn't bad news because, like, yeah, cool, they have the script and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think it's mostly like, if we can film it without having to change the script, we're going to go ahead and film it.
The only problem is you still kind of need a writer during production to kind of go like, hey, this scene isn't working exactly right. Could we fix it? So, like, they can go ahead and film it. They are just being a little hamstrung because of it.
I think, if anything, this means like these movies are going to have reshoots big time at some point.
They probably have some reshoots. I think Thunderbolts more than Deadpool, because I can totally see Deadpool 3 just leaning on Ryan Reynolds and others' improv skills.
Yeah, let's just be silly and fix it in editing.
Yeah. But for Deadpool, that's fine, in my opinion. What else? Marvel's Wonder Man filming site targeted for shutdown by striking writers.
Yeah, this is something where the writer's strike did directly affect it, because a bunch of people picketed right where they were filming Wonder Man the other day and actually shut down the filming for a day, which, you know what? It's fine. That's good. I wasn't particularly excited for Wonder Man, honestly, so I'm okay with it getting delayed a little bit, and I'm okay with anything getting delayed a little bit if it means we get some fucking movement on a good agreement for the writers.
Yeah, I'm surprised we didn't. There hasn't been much more, like, word of, like, oh, they're going ahead of it immediately with how bad the last one was. New look at Secret Invasion on the covers of Empire magazine. Look at that.
Yeah, don't forget Secret Invasion, just a couple weeks away. So they put it on the cover of Empire. Look at Samuel L. Jackson being a man.
Yeah. Oh, it's cool. So they're all like paper masks.
Yeah.
That's neat. I'm excited for Secret Empire. I'm excited to see how they're trying to adapt it,
Yeah, and I mean, like that's the other reason why I wanna get you to a theater next week to see Guardians. Is like I don't think anything in that movie is going to directly get referenced in Secret Invasion, but just in case, I need you to be up to date for the show, sir.
I thought he was the brother of Wanda because I used to hear her name as what? Oh,
Oh, sir,
you know why that's double fucks?
that is a silly childhood thing that I can see happening to anyone. Honestly,
Yeah,
though.
no, but you want to know? Here's the thing: Scarlet Witch and Wonder Man used to fuck
Hmm.
because
Vision's brain patterns were based on him, right?
yeah. So when Wanda and Wonder Man started talking, she was like, "Oh, yeah, you're like my ex boyfriend. Let's fucking date,"
Hmm.
and they did. Yeah.
Well, I mean, Wanda's had weirder sexual relationships in comics.
Yeah, yeah, you were you were wrong, and I'm not trying to make fun of you. It's just more of like, it's um, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse confirms Metro Boomin cameo. What?
Metro Boomin is a rapper who I only just found out about today while looking at news links.
Uh huh.
Apparently, he made up a Spider Sona for like he was one of the people who made a Spider Sona fan art in the wake of Into the Spider Verse being super successful, and apparently they actually put it in the background of a shot in the movie.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
That's fun. You know,
Hmm.
I like. Here's the thing. He's a big person who got they can actually talk to and get like I wouldn't say the rights, but like all the legal stuff cleared. So like that's fair. And I'm pretty sure if it was up to the fucking people, they would have just on the internet and found a bunch of other spider sonas too.
Yeah. So like, I guess that's cool. That's nice. I honestly only put this in here because it's the only Spider Verse story we had this week.
But it's fun. It's fun.
Mhm.
And, like you know, for the people who like the rapper, I have not heard of him.
We'll look him up when we have time.
Controversial Warner Brothers Discovery CEO appears to side with striking writers.
Okay, so this is
Very rare
interesting.
Zaslav win.
I've seen several different articles about this interview, which was a segment on CNBC. And I've seen people make articles that say, "Oh, this is him saying he's on the side of the writers," and clickbait articles saying that, "Oh, like look, he said this thing," which is a very like, "Oh, he's an idiot, out of touch boomer who doesn't understand how striking works." Because the thing is, he spends a lot of this clip talking about like, look, people who like who work in this industry got into it because they like storytelling, because they love doing this, and we all want to be fairly compensated and be able to work in an environment that is fair to us. And so I think it's a good thing that they're trying to get to that point, and I hope they can get to that point as soon as possible. And hopefully the love of telling stories will get us through this faster than the last writer's strike. A lot of people took that to mean that he said like, "Oh, they're going to stop striking at some point because they just love working so much."
No,
And like,
he's using that as like a figurative device of like we all want to get back to telling stories, so we're all gonna try and agree to the thing quicker.
mm-hmm. Like, you got to remember, this is the guy who's been gassing up James Gunn because he's an incredible storyteller a lot recently. And James Gunn is a member of the Writers Guild and is striking right now. So I think he probably has a better understanding of this than most studio CEOs. And this is a very rare time where you're going to catch me going to bat for any CEO, but also David Zaslav. I think he's actually a good boy in this one case.
Like I'm pretty sure he would also go like if they also agree with what we currently have, I'd be perfectly happy with that. Like he's
Hmm.
not altruistic here. He's not being like, yeah, we should give them the money. He's being like, we should reach a deal as quick as possible so we can get back to our jobs.
Yeah, because you gotta remember, he's probably also thinking like, "God damn it, I just got DC working again, and now we're gonna have to wait God knows how long to get it going again."
Yeah. Yeah, like It's a W for him, but it's a lowercase W.
Yeah.
Superman Legacy. James Gunn confirms some Guardians of the Galaxy stars will appear. Sure.
Yeah, he did a Q&A yesterday where he was like, "Hey, I've got a little bit of time. If you guys want to ask me questions about Guardians and only Guardians, and I can answer it with a yes or a no, reply to this tweet." And so it became a big thread. And one of the things he got asked is, "Are there going to be Guardians of the Galaxy actors in Superman Legacy?" And he was like, "Yes." He
How
didn't
much
say
who it is?
that. I don't know who it is, but I also don't think it's going to be anyone in a prominent role. I think it's going to be like little side characters and cameos.
I know who it's going to be. It's Michael Rooker.
Who's Michael Rooker going to play?
I don't know who he's going to play, but he plays someone in everything James Gunn does.
Sean Gunn.
Oh, yeah, Sean Gunn. Sean Gunn does a lot. Sean Gunn's Kraglin.
Oh, dude. Sean Gunn is Bibbo.
Oh my god, Sean Gunn is fucking Bibbo. Michael Rooker is Bibbo.
Michael Rooker as Bibbo.
Sean Gunn.
Sean Gunn is the voice of Calyx.
Okay, that could work, but I was about to say the sports writer from the Daily Planet.
Oh, yeah. Oh, what the
Lombard.
fuck is that dude's? Yeah, Lombard.
Or Michael Rooker as Lombard, Sean Gunn. Like, those two, as either of those two characters. Pitch perfect.
Yeah. Though, honestly, I could see Michael Rooker as Perry White if you wanted to go, like, more of a gruff Perry.
Let's just make Sean Gunn Perry.
Sean Gunn is Jimmy Olsen and Michael Rooker is Perry White.
Just an old, grizzled Jimmy Olsen.
Yeah.
I've been in this business, Clark.
That would actually be an interesting departure that I haven't seen before. A Jimmy that's older than Lois and Clark.
Oh, that would be interesting. And, like, Clark's good-natured humbleness, like, rubs off on Jimmy, and he becomes his old self again.
Yeah.
Either way, yeah, it's Sean Gunn, Michael Rooker, one of those two. It's probably them. Will the writer's strike affect James Gunn's Superman Legacy? Yes, he stopped writing it.
Well, yeah, he submitted the script the day he announced that the script was finished, but he can't make any alterations, rewrites, or updates to it as long as the strike is happening because he's a member of the Writers Guild.
Yep.
However, that doesn't halt pre-production on the film. All the other aspects like casting, costuming, production design, all that they're still doing. So it's essentially like we're going to get it as close to ready to film as we can without changing the script.
Yeah. But like that to say it doesn't halt anything, there are going to be hamstrings here.
It's a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
Yeah. And again, we should not be upset that things are getting slowed or delayed.
If anything, this might give him more time to go like, oh, maybe that's a stupid idea. Maybe I should change that scene.
You know it's not going to be a stupid idea? James Gunn confirms Krypto the Superdog will appear in Superman Legacy.
Yeah, so apparently during an interview he did to promote Guardians of the Galaxy with, what's his name, Chris Pratt, the interview was like, this was before the Twitter thread, of like, hey, is anybody from the Guardians series going to be in Superman Legacy? Chris Pratt was like, yeah, am I going to be in it? And James is like, well, I guess you could stand in for Krypto. Like, you could do the motion capture for Krypto. That would be funny to see you running around set on all fours. And he's like, oh, yeah, I'll be Krypto if you pay me in Krypto. And he's like, oh, I'll pay you in Krypto because Krypto is worth nothing. And they both laughed.
But yeah, no. Hey, Krypto Superdog.
Yeah.
Love to see it. And we got a couple more things.
So this is, I didn't essentially have an article for this, but the woman who played Stargirl on the CW show was at a convention recently, and because that show has now wrapped, she was being asked all these questions about like the future of her version of the character, and essentially there is no future because apparently all the props and the costumes from that show have been destroyed.
Ugh.
Kind
That's
of terrible to hear.
that's stinky.
Hmm. You should have put those in a warehouse somewhere, WB. Come on.
Okay. More like Crypto the Super Doge.
Oh
You're
my god.
don't be sorry. If you
Don't
were
give me on any
if
ideas.
you were sorry, you wouldn't have typed that out in the first place.
Aki, you are a troublemaker on this show, and I love it.
G.I. Joe producer says they're working on the next movie. Sure.
Yeah. So take this with an extreme grain of salt because it comes to us from Collider, and it is a quote from Lorenzo de Bonadevera. I think that's how you pronounce his name, who is a producer on both the Transformers and the G.I. Joe movies, and is known for just saying whatever shit he thinks will please the people talking to him and completely talking out of his ass. Like, he's the guy who made us confused on whether Bumblebee was a prequel or a reboot for a full fucking year.
Because he was just like, oh, whatever one works better.
Uh-huh.
Just watch the movie. I don't give a shit.
And this quote is kind of the same sort of thing because he's like, yeah, we were working on Suffing for a while. We were working on an Amazon show before Paramount Plus came along, and then that got sort of derailed because of Paramount Plus, but now it's back up and running, and we want it to lead into the next movie because we're trying to get a next movie to happen. Because essentially, for those of you who don't know, because I don't think we ever covered this on the show, a year and a half ago, there was briefly a rumor that there was going to be an Amazon Prime Lady J focused series, which not the worst idea in the world, a little bit weird, but not the worst idea in the world. And then we just never heard anything again. And now I'm guessing this is him admitting, like, yeah, that was something we were working on, but now if it is still happening, it's going to happen at Paramount Plus, and it's probably going to lead into whatever the next movie is.
Yeah.
Because remember, we had a rumor a couple weeks ago about a new movie starring Michael Keaton.
Right, and we were all like, oh, maybe he could be a good classic Joe.
Yeah, Joe Colton.
Look, his first name is G.I., his last name is Joe.
Yeah, General Joe Colton. The frickin' man, adaptation news, it's all over the place this week. There's actually not a lot of news this week compared to our normal haul, which is fairly nice because I've got a lot of personal shit going on.
I mean, there was a lot of news, but it was all like, hey, the writers are striking. How are they striking? Well, this is happening and this is happening.
Mm-hmm. And we didn't even cover like half the writer's strike news because there's a ton of other shit that doesn't affect our shit.
Yeah, like every show that has a writer, they're not doing right now.
Yep. All the late night shows are on reruns right now.
Yep. So first things first, we got a teaser for Jonathan Hickman's and Brian Hitch's Ultimate Invasion.
Yeah, we talked about this a little bit last week. But the event they have been teasing for a while now is officially called Ultimate Invasion, and it will be a new series coming in the summer towards the end. And they're still being super vague about it. We don't exactly know what the plot of this is, except that it, of course, centers around the Maker and will probably heavily feature Miles Morales, too. And we've got a bunch of covers and a few splash pages and
a couple panels.
Oh boy, howdy. Yeah, doesn't it look interesting? One such interesting thing that I don't think is featured anywhere in this article, but one of the covers I saw, we're getting Ultimate Magic finally.
Yeah, Ultimate Magic.
And it looks like she's got like an arc reactor in her top.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, it's Jonathan Hickman. He does really good stuff. He's really good at like taking continuity, working with it, and doing something new.
Like,
involved.
honestly, I have no love for the Ultimate Universe. That was just a little bit before my time. And I've only recently latched onto Miles now that he's more of a 616 boy. But it's Hickman. It's Hitch. It's like it's a bold new project taking something old and dusting it up to make it relevant again. This is gonna be good shit. I'm gonna give it a shot.
Oh yeah. And it also looks like we're gonna have some Illuminati up in here
Mm-hmm.
because we have Reed, Doctor Strange, Black Bolt, Namor, Black Panther, Iron Man. We've seen. I think that's that's not the Maker. That's Professor Xavier right there.
Mm,
Yeah, that is the Illuminati.
man.
Yeah, also a lot of characters just like on covers and semi-confirmed. So we got Ultimate Wolverine, Ultimate Jean Grey,
Yeah, we talked about them a couple weeks ago. We got a lot of
Ultimate
focus from
Wasp,
those.
who last I remember she got ate by the Blob.
Uh-huh. Also, fucking beautiful cover by Peach Momoko right there.
Yeah, really good. Makes Wasp really cute.
Mm-hmm.
Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmo gets a Marvel webcomic time for Volume 3. Cool.
Yeah, not really much to say about this. It's going to be one of those infinity scrolling comics, and it's probably going to be very different from the movie version, because the movie version is very different from the classic comic version. But hey, Cosmos getting a book, isn't that wild?
Yep, wild time we're living in.
Where's Kanye and Taylor Swift? Who fucking cares?
Jim Lee named president of DC. All right.
Yep. After years of floating around at various executive positions and being like an acting head of DC for the last couple of years, they finally just made it official. Jim Lee is the CEO of DC Publishing. And he is basically going to be the guy who everything runs through him. He's going to be making sure all the books are on time and are doing cool stuff. He's going to be conversating with James Gunn and Peter Safran to make sure the movies go as well as they can and get promoted as well as they can. And he's probably going to appear on earnings calls and stuff like that. So, good.
Does DC have an editor in chief, and is he like the person who goes like, "You're the editor in chief"?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
So good for Jim Lee. What a fucking story that man has had climbing the corporate ladder over the years. Starting at Marvel as a lowly bitch boy inker, becoming a superstar artist, starting Image, and then coming over to DC and just like slowly getting more and more power. And now he is essentially the be all end all of DC.
Yeah.
Jim Lee has succeeded, Buster. He doesn't need to succeed. He is fucking done
he's
all he
won.
can do.
He's won. He's did it.
At the end of the day, the most reluctant to be an Image boy turned out to be the most successful Image boy.
Oh yeah, because he just wanted a corporate job. He just wanted the job where it's like it's steady and it's safe.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted it to be consistent.
He cares about his family.
Yeah. And so, like, when DC came a calling and they were like, "Hey, we'll buy Wildcats," it was like, "Fuck it, sure. Just make sure I have a position on the board."
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, "Yeah, fuck it. You're Jim Lee. Why wouldn't we want you on our board?"
And don't forget, like, he is also just like a good boy who stands up for other artists as well, because he's the guy that kept DC running during the pandemic.
Yeah, like that's the useful thing of having like a good couple of artists. Writers always get like a lot more of the praise because they're the ones kind of like directing the story often. But artists are like more of the genuine lifeblood of comics.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you want to sell a comic, you go to Alex Ross to draw your cover.
Yeah.
If a book is failing and they want it to succeed, Jim Lee can draw a cover for it and can help boost sales.
Yeah. Like, Jim Lee is one of those guys where I'm pretty definitively like, I don't care for his artistic style, but I really appreciate and respect him as an artist because of all the stuff he's done for the industry over the years.
Yep. Next story, DC's new Golden Age continues with 3 new miniseries.
So
Explain.
Jeff Johns in his
Johns.
quest to be like, no, I still matter, has created a Golden Age imprint at DC out of the Flashpoint Beyond stuff and Stargirl and the Lost Children. And we are now continuing that on by making miniseries about the golden age characters that nobody cares about anymore. The golden age characters that are so golden age that I don't think there's a reader alive who cares about them having their own book anymore. We're getting an Alan Scott book, we're getting a Jay Garrick book, and we're getting a Wesley Dodd book.
That's Sandman.
Yeah, that's the original Sandman.
Maybe they'll introduce some more of the elements from the Neil Gaiman book because, like, he's a part of that.
Yeah. I mean, like, Wesley Dodd has had good books. It's not like nobody cares about Wesley Dodd, but also, like, who's like gonna be excited about this?
Jeff
'Cause,
Johns
like,
is
it's
excited.
also yeah, and it's also like there's not name writers attached to this. It's people who have like done some stuff recently, and I haven't heard anything extremely positive or negative about them. But Jeff Johns is going to be in charge of all of it.
Hey, and maybe we can look on the very bright side of this and just say, like, maybe this is the thing that, like, really makes their name.
Yeah. I mean, I'll give the first issue of each one of them a shot. I like Jay Garrick. I know who Alan Scott is, and I kind of know things about Wesley Dodd, so...
You're morbidly curious.
Yeah.
IDW announces organizational restructure and names new leadership team. They did just lay off a lot of their staff. It's understandable that they're going like, hey, we're restructuring.
Yeah. Essentially, this is, hey, these people who had executive positions are now going to be the CEO, the COO, and the CDO. And I've not heard of any of them before, so I doubt any of you have either.
It seems very much more of like, hey, we were gonna go bankrupt and have to restructure, so we're just restructuring preemptively.
Mm-hmm. We're trying to pull our butts out of the fire. And also, here's a quote that has a bunch of corporate buzzwords about like restructuring and having better licensed synergy and blah blah blah. This sounds like that one Weird Al song.
Yeah, I mean, Hasbro pulling out of IDW is probably not doing them a lot of favors. Mm-hmm. We said this a couple times. Their biggest license now is Sonic, which that can keep the lights on, but it like, let's be honest.
They gotta get something else going. They need like a massive verse.
Let's be honest here. Sonic can't keep everything going.
Yeah.
It's a niche title. It's a popular title. Everybody's been loving the current Sonic run, but it's still a niche title. Mm-hmm. They got some horror books, I think, under their belt that are doing pretty good. Hey, guess what?
What's up? Is it toy time?
It's toy time. Guardians Volume 3 Groot figure from Hot Toys.
Yeah, so don't bring up the images for this because there is spoilers.
Okay, We'll just bring up this first one.
Mm-hmm. It looks very good. It can do almost all the things Groot does in the movie. There's one thing he does when they get on to Counter Earth that he can't do, because I think you'd have to have a whole other figure in the box for him to do that. But other than that, he can do pretty much everything from the movie here, and also there's a teaser image at the end for they're going to do the whole team. So if you're a Hot Toys collector and you liked Guardians 3 and you want that whole team in their matching outfits, this is where you start. Pre-order this.
Yeah. They're doing a lot of stuff with Groot in just general. We'll talk about that later. 112 Collective Iron Man Silver Centurion. Look at that fucking... Ooh, that is tasty. Yeah.
This looks great, honestly. It's a lot of reuse of their classic Iron Man, but the new parts you need to be there are there. And man, the colors on this thing are just fantastic. And it's also going to come with basically every blast effect part they've ever done. So, like this is a real bang for your buck figure. It's still going to be like a great likeness to classic comic Tony.
Yeah.
This is going to be the Silver Centurion to get if you don't already have the Marvel Legends and you don't mind paying $100, because this is a Mezco. It's going to be like between $80 and $120, but it's going to be worth it.
You didn't miss a Super Tanaki, just some comic announcements, things that are doing. Yeah, it's if I remember right, this is the Iron Man that he used for Armor Wars.
Yeah.
Like, this is what he used during Armor Wars, and right after Armor Wars, he used the modular suit, which was pretty much the suit for the entirety of the 90s.
Yeah, the modular suit is one of the most iconic Iron Man armors, but this is like one of the fan favorite ones. Like, I
Yeah.
think for people, the ranking usually goes classic, this, Hulkbuster, modular, and then like one or two
I think
others.
if I have to rank my Iron Man suits, I think the current Alex Ross suit is the best. It is the most. It
Mhm.
is the perfect synergy of like the mid 2000s extremis and MCU style suits with the classic. It's a great combo. So good. Modular right after that, and then maybe Silver Centurion.
For me, it is definitely Extremis. Like, I just have a huge nostalgic attachment to that suit because that was the first Iron Man comic I ever read post getting into Iron Man for the MCU. Then it would be MCU Mark III. Then it would be Silver Centurion. No, then it would be Hulkbuster. Hulkbuster definitely takes precedent for me. Then it would be Silver Centurion. Then Stealth, and then probably Extremis, or not Extremis, Modular, uh, followed by the current one.
Did you order the modular Iron Man toy?
No, I did not.
I wanted to get the retro one that came with the Marvel vs. Capcom
Yeah, I was gonna
canon.
get that, but then like budget shit came up. Like,
Yeah.
I actually don't currently own an Iron Man. I sold all my Iron Mans to help pay for my new computer last year. So I keep meaning to grab that new Legends Extremis one. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. Maybe I'll find it when I'm down in Florida. We'll see.
Yeah. Next up we have the two-pack Thor versus Destroyer Marvel Legends. This is very much early 90s Thor before
hmm
all the non-Thor stuff happened.
I'll admit I'm a little disappointed by this because the only new thing about this that we didn't already know from the live stream is the masked head that you make him Eric Masterson for. I was kind of hoping we'd get like a blast effect for the destroyer and the hammer spinning effect for four. The fact that they're not in this box does kind of like take my wanting of these versions down, but also 80th4 and Select Destroyer are incredibly expensive on the aftermarket right now, so this is your best option for classic versions of those characters if that's something you're in need of, and I'm in need of that. So I'll probably still get this set at some
Oh,
point.
Aki, they did bring back Thunderstrike as a zombie.
Oh yeah, that's right, they did.
During the Clea Strange, when they were doing all that kind of stuff, zombies were happening, and they did
Mhm.
Thunderstrike. Also, Thor: Love and Thunder, one of his costumes was Thunderstrike.
Yeah. I mean, as is, this is probably going to be a really solid set because it's the 80th 4 body, which is a really solid 4 figure. And that destroyer, oh man, I love how spiky he's still able to be, even though this is technically a retail toy.
Yeah, yeah. Also, I just love the Jim Bro Thor shirt. It just works
hmm
for Thor.
The Jim Bro, the beard, like the only thing that figure is really missing to be my perfect four is the spinny effect and like a wired cloth cape. But hey, guess what? Thanks to 80 there's plenty of wired cloth capes that would fit this four floating around on eBay right now.
Yeah, looks good though. Looks good, but I can understand the disappointment. Hasbro Marvel Legends Beyond Earth's Mightiest program. It's just like here's all the Avengers line.
A reminder that the whole of what the whole line is, and that the pre-orders for the line are done for now. There will be pre-orders for Bucky Cap and Black Widow in the later in the summer. We are getting Hawkeye's pre-order next week, but the thing is, Hawkeye is going to be the last general release one. Bucky Cap is going to be a Walmart exclusive, and Black Widow is going to be a Target exclusive.
Yep.
So Probably going to be a bitch to get a hold of Bucky Cap. Black Widow, it is 50-50 with Target right now. It might be really easy, it might not. But I know plenty of people are going to want to get both those figures because Bucky Cap, it's the figure that was the standard buck for so long on the new standard buck, and Black Widow is the new super articulated female body. Everybody's going to want to crack at that. So might be a bit of a nightmare to get a hold of those because of the demand and because of the exclusivity, but whatever. Thanks for
Yeah.
giving us the heads up, Dan.
Yeah. Batman fighting the frozen page punchers. Wave up for orders. All right, whatever.
Yeah, we have all the official promotional pictures for this line now. Finding out that each figure is going to come with the same comic, but an exclusive cover per figure. And that the premise is basically Mr. Freeze fucks up, gets himself sent back several thousand years in time, kicks off a new ice age trying to get back to the present day, and then a prehistoric Batman team forms and fights him. Uh, and also the notable thing about this is the packaging. They've redone it where it's now not big boxes. It's fucking old Toy Biz style Marvel Legends packaging
Holy shit.
with like the hermetically sealed and everything, and it's almost all plastic and there's an included comic. Which I guess makes sense because this technically isn't multiverse. It's branded as DC Direct Page Punchers, but that's still like I gotta feel like that's some kind of statement by Todd of like, oh, Hasbro, you're going plastic free. I'm going all plastic. I'm getting in on that nostalgia.
Yeah. They're weird Elseworlds looking thing.
Mm-hmm. I kind of love steampunk Mr. Freeze, but not like I appreciate the design. I don't think I'm gonna buy that figure.
I mean, he looks cute with the fucking little eyes.
Yeah, the like big stone bat symbol on Batman's chest is a really nice stuff. Like, there's really good characterful sculpting with these figures that I do appreciate. It's just it's not attached to anything I know, so I'm probably not going to pick them up. Though, I definitely do see your point there, Aki. Cave Batwoman is kind of hot.
This straight up looks like a Mortal Kombat character.
It does. But also, like, the color layout, it's very easy to tell, like, yeah, that's definitely Robin.
It's neat. It's fun. It's fine. They're
Mhm.
not for us, and they're fine.
It's going to be one of those things that, like, in 10 years, a comic channel or a toy channel is going to be like, hey, you remember these? Remember Total Justice, everybody? I'm going to review the Total Justice comic books. Like, that's an original and wacky idea.
Yeah. Have a go, Todd.
Mhm.
DC Superpowers, Wave 4, new Batmobile, Invisible Jet. This is
Yeah.
their Kenner like. Was
Mhm.
it Kenner? It was Kenner.
Yeah, it's a homage to the old Kenner Superpowers line. And these look pretty solid. This is a fun little line that like older collectors can appreciate from a nostalgic angle and kids can interact with from the toyetic angle. And I do like the new design for the Batmobile here. It's
Yeah.
very silly and toyetic. It feels very at home and like I'm not super into these. I haven't been tempted to pick any of these up, but I can really appreciate a lot of the toyetic play design going on here. I think this would be a great line for my nephew were he like 2 or 3 years older.
Yeah, they look good. It's fun, Kenner looking the guys. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool that they went with bearded Aquaman, but like the classic design. That's a nice little twist.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's kind of like late 80s,
Yeah.
you know? And that's definitely like, that has to be, that's like early 90s Wonder Woman, isn't it?
Yeah, honestly, my biggest problem with this line is just the capes. They don't really look naturally attached ever. They always look like they were just stapled into the side of the neck.
Look how big his chin is.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
That is a classic ass Batman right there.
We'll be waiting underground bunkers when climate apocalypse forces us to do that.
Mhm.
From the back, it doesn't look as bad.
Yeah,
That's a 70s ass Batman, isn't it?
that's some Neil Adams art right
That's
there.
some
I'm
Neil
pretty sure.
Adams. But that's definitely Tim Drake.
Yeah. Though it looks like he's wearing a bath towel, right?
Yeah, it does. But that's definitely Tim Drake. Yeah, no, it's. I wouldn't say it's a weird inconsistency because it's meant to. I can see what it is. It's meant to be like evergreen. Like you remember DC.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's not the yeah cool.
Hmm.
How because these look like they would be great for like you said like young kids. How expensive are they?
I think I want to say the figures are like $10 and the vehicles are like 20, but I'm not sure. I haven't
Okay,
looked
because I was
super
going like,
closely at them.
are they priced for collectors?
Wait a minute. Let's live pull up Big Bad Toy Store right now and see if I can find it real quick.
Because like, yeah, no, they would be cool for kids, but like if they were priced for collectors, no.
Where is Okay, McFarlane Toys. Let's sort by newest. Okay, yeah. The Big Bad Toy Store is pricing the figures at $11.99, and they usually charge a dollar or two more than retail because they want to be able to cover like collector value and whatnot. The Batmobile, they're asking $30. The Invisible Jet, they're asking $20.
Okay, that's not bad.
So retail's probably like the figures are $10, the Invisible Jet's 15, the Batmobile's 25. I would be willing to bet.
Next up, NECA Last Run, Karai and Raphael. Look at them.
Yeah, this is going to be a two-pack, and we got some early images of it thanks to a Toy Collector magazine, because those are still a thing apparently. And somebody just took photos of the magazine, like this is freaking Super Sentai land. And yeah, these figures look really good. I love how just like beat to shit this Raph figure looks.
Well, I mean, I like considering the story of the Last Ronin. This is probably he's probably meant to be dead.
Yeah. Though I gotta say, that Karai, I know it's probably the design from the comics, but like, guys, you're really trying to just like tempting fate right there, aren't you?
Yeah, no, I don't know. You got to be a little blind to not see it.
Hmm. Hey,
You
everybody
guys
who
are
was upset about
you guys are certainly some daredevils for this.
everybody who was upset about that Elektra in white from the Daredevil free pack. Here you go. Get this.
She looks a lot like Elektra from Daredevil.
Yeah, Nightmare. This is like it makes sense because the Turtles started as a parody of Daredevil, so it's probably a direct homage, but also just like it's an older Karai in a red and like crimson outfit with a bandana. She just looks like
With
Elektra.
big black wavy hair.
Yeah. This is the closest we're gonna get to a NECA Elektra for a while.
Yeah, that is all the toy news.
Hey, we did it. We did the news, and it's not even midnight yet. What is happening?
A lot of things are happening.
Mhm.
But you know what's going to happen now? It's time to talk about some comics, baby.
Oh my god.
So I read Sons of X.
Oh boy. I almost read this and then I saw it was continuing on from the Legion of X stuff and I was like, I don't know anything about that and I don't want to learn right now.
Honestly, it's kind of the wrap up of all of that.
Okay, so I made a good decision then.
But it also leads into the fall of X with some of the stuff setting it up.
Mhm.
And boy howdy, there's one thing you definitely need to know considering you read Immortal X-Men. We'll talk about that later.
Okay.
So basically, Legion's just trying to figure out how to save his buddies. They go through the whole thing. They do it. They have to deal with Mother Righteous. And Mother's Righteous is just like, I just need a thank you. Ha! Thanking me gives me power because that means you put your faith in me and I have faith magic. And Legion's just like, fuck you. And he steals the soul of Nightcrawler, which was turned into a sword. He throws it to Nightcrawler and he goes like, you know what's stronger than faith? Hope. and he stabs her.
Man went full Haruto.
Yeah, but like there's a lot of fun things with that. They fix the problem so they aren't gonna be monstrous, so they all get respawned and they're back to normal, everybody who became monsters. Mother Righteous gave Nimrod an existential crisis. I was just like, oh, you have a soul, robot. What are you gonna do with that soul? And it's like, I have a soul? Whoa.
What's he gonna do with that soul, baby?
And basically, at the end of it all, they're going like, so Legion fucked off and we can't find him. We don't know what's going on there. And Nightcrawler's just going like, yeah, no, I killed people. Nightcrawler, Kurt, you were under mind control. It's like, yeah, but like, I need to get away from here. Like, I need a moment to myself. Like, you know, I need to rediscover what it means to be human, right? What it means to be like a person. And Scott Summers is there, just going like, are you sure you need Kurt, we all rely on you for like spiritual guidance. You can't abandon us now. And he's like, no, it'll be fine. I gave Storm my vote.
Oh
no! You all will understand why that's fucked later. Bert. And Kurt just bamps away. Kurt Wagner will return in the Uncanny Spider-Man.
Fuck me, dude.
Yeah, it's kind of fucked.
It's all coming apart.
It's almost... Also, the entire thing is just going like, oh yeah, the falling down in stories is like, it's the end, but it's also the moral and all this kind of stuff. It's like, guys, please, guys.
Don't worry, darling, it's a sign of the times.
You read Wayne Family Adventures.
Hey, I caught up on Wayne Family Adventures. We can talk about some nice, wholesome, fun stuff real quick, because I read season 2, episode 74, through 83. A lot of fun little moments and some very like, ooh, oh, my heart moments, because first and foremost, we get a fun little one-off called Lesson Learned, where Damien goes up to Dick and is like, hey, I was reading through the files and it said that you were like banned from going on missions that involved poison ivy for a year. Why was that? And you think like, oh, this is going to be a teenage boy horny story. No, as a little boy, Dick got eaten by a flower and then kept messing with it. And Bruce was just like, you are distracting me. And you're like causing the mission to get disrupted. You can't come on these anymore. Then we have a 2-parter called Worthy, which is just like a nice little spotlight for Duke Thomas the Signal, talking about like how he feels like he's trying to measure up to the rest of the family and trying really hard to be like the perfect detective man and not use his powers and rely on his own like human skills. And then one of the foxes, I forget which, he's like, hey dude, your power is another tool in your utility belt. You should be using that. Nobody's gonna look down on you for that. You're a metahuman. Be proud. And he's like, yeah, that makes sense.
What's that N-word? Mutant? Metahuman. We can't use the word mutant. We will get in legal trouble.
Yep, it's one of those. But it's good. It's solid. Then we get a silly one-off called Suit Up, where Bruce is fighting Condiment King and gets his suit all covered in ketchup and mustard, and he's like, hey, can somebody run to the cave and get me a spare? And so Kate, Dick, and Jason have a competition to see who can find the most ridiculous old bat costume, and then Kate has to go take it to him, and they end up giving him the Rainbow Batman costume.
Yeah, I saw that. I think you reposted that on the Tumblrs.
Yeah, there were a lot of cameos by fun suits. There was a moment where Kate's like, "Hey, what if we give him this one?" And it's fucking Zur-En-Aw, and I was like, "Oh no,
oh no!"
Then there's Outlaws, which is where Jason goes to the cave with the Outlaws to pick up some gear, and then Alfred's like, "Hey, you guys should have a snack. You should hang out. You should take a breather." And he's like, "No, we have a mission. We have to go. We have to go quick. Hey, we have to get our stuff and get out." And Bizarro is like, "But he has little sandwiches. I love little sandwiches. Let me have some little sandwiches." Uh, and then Cash shows up and is like, "Oh, cool sword, Artemis. Let's spar." And Jason's just like, "No, no, but the mission. But we were gonna do something cool." And he's like, "You better just be prepared for them to stay." And Alfred's just like, "You better be prepared for them to stay for dinner because my plan worked, you little shit." Um, and then we have Just Desserts, which is a silly little one-off about Bruce dealing with his rival on the PTA,
Oh,
where he's like, "Yes, I finally did it. I finally got my shit together, and I was able to show up for the class party, and I got the snacks, and it's gonna be great." And then the teachers are like, "You were supposed to get the desserts, not the snacks." And he's like, "What?" But I thought it was specifically sent. And then like this Karen ass looking lady shows up, and I think her name is Marjorie or something like that. And she's like, "I just happened to be in a baking mood last night, so I made 6 dozen cupcakes for the kids." "Oh, you saved the day, Marjorie. Way to go." And Bruce is like, "God fucking damn it. Alfred, what do I do?" And he's like, "Well, you could just admit defeat and try better next time." And he's like, "No, no, I have to do it for the kids. For the kids. I'm gonna make this the best party ever." And he rents out fucking ice cream trucks to come and cater the party, and just shows this woman up, and it is the most hilarious petty bullshit I've ever seen. I loved it. Uh, then we have Holding Hope, which is a two-parter where the first part is about Dick being hesitant to go to a little girl who ran away from her foster home because she's still traumatized about her parents dying. And Bruce is like, you should go and talk to her until the police come. And he's like, "But I don't know what to say." And he's like, "I didn't know what to say about you." And we get like a whole like Bruce and Dick exchanging perspectives on their relationship. And then part two is Dick goes and comforts this little girl, and it's very sweet. And then he gets back to the cave, and he's like, "I'm going to try and check in on her every once in a while from now on." And he's like, "Good, you should." Bruce says that, and then Dick is like, I'm glad that things turned out the way you did. It did. I appreciate you." And he's like, "Oh, I'm so happy to hear that." No, kind of wholesome fodder something. Um, then we have Sneak Attack, which is Bruce testing everybody's ability to sense their surroundings by sending Cassandra to sneak up on them and scare them. And
Aki,
she
we're
get
talking about a good Bruce Wayne, not a shitty Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, I don't know what Aki just said, but I agree.
Go adopt her, make her your Robin, more soldiers.
um, but no, Sneak Attack is really hilarious because she gets everybody except for Barbara, and it's only because Barbara set up new sensors around the clock tower. And that includes the rest of the Trinity, because Cassandra goes back to report to Bruce, and there's like just this little bit of Superman like talking to Wonder Woman and Batman and being like, "So yeah, I'll go clear everything with the police, and then I'll meet you guys back at the." And then Wonder Woman's like, "Wow, she's gotten really good. I didn't even catch her." Or, "I bet you didn't either, Bruce." And he's like, "No, I noticed." And then Superman's like, "Why did your heart rate spike?"
Because you yelled, sir.
And then we have the latest episode, Utility Belt, which is just a bunch of silly instances of Bruce surprising the crap out of Hal Jordan by being like, "Oh, don't worry, you may be able to use your ring to get out of any situation, but I have whatever I need in my utility belt." Like there's a moment where he has little bombs that take out a bunch of guys shooting at them non-lethally. There's an instance where he pulls a full fucking sword out of his utility belt like it's Zero Space, and Hal's just like, "What the hell?" There's a he pulls out fish treats to tame a couple of angry bears, and there's a shark repellent gag. Second time this week, the fucking shark repellent gets referenced.
Yeah.
Uh, and
Well,
just
with this, it's a gag, and the other one, it's kind of like referential, and it's like, yes, this is Batman.
and it's just like how progressively getting more and more like perturbed by Batman's preparedness until he's finally just like, I give up. You are the most insane, worst person I've ever met, but you get the job done.
Hey, Hal! It sounds like you're coming low. You have some low blood sugar. Would you like a granola bar?
It's just fucking Wade Family Adventures. It's a good wholesome time. I love shotgunning it whenever it builds up like a dozen or so chapters.
Yeah. What's next? We both read Carnage Reigns.
Hey,
Alpha.
you hopped on the Miles book because this is essentially the next issue of Miles's book.
Well, it did. Here's the thing. It read really easy, and I felt like I didn't need to go back and read Miles to catch this.
Yeah, because there's a little bit that gets referenced in this, but overall, it's very much another issue one. And you know what? This feels like this almost kind of feels like a writer summer movie, where it's just a higher budget episode of the show that you don't necessarily need to have seen the show to enjoy.
Yeah. But also I'm reading it because Red Goblin.
But no, there's some good shit in this. Like they follow up with Scorpion in this. Though
I will say Scorpion's a little written messily throughout this because it's like 3 different stories and he's inconsistent.
But he gets solid moments in this.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that. And I also I appreciate how much they're fleshing out comic book Jefferson Morales here.
Yeah.
Because I don't know much about him as a character, and I've always got the understanding that like he's kind of one note beyond the origin. So seeing like more of him being the concerned fodder who's just doing everything he can to keep the peace at home kind of worked for me. And oh boy, Cletus.
I love how much of a fucker he was.
Yeah, and also just like the pure horror movie-ness of his of the big reveal in this, that like he's not just the Carnage, he's the whole fucking building that Miles is in.
I love how they took this dumb 90s concept and was just like, no, wait a second, if we take it to its logical extreme, he's fucking Freddy Krueger. We have Freddy Krueger in our comics universe. Why don't we use him as Freddy Krueger?
Yeah. I also love that he gets plenty of time in the regular Carnage costume. Like the new big goopy Iron Man one is in this and it's on the cover. Iron Man isn't fucking in this.
No. I think this is more representative of like the story as a whole.
Yeah, this is probably like this is meant to be the cover for the trade. But like yeah, you do get the modern costume in this, but you also get plenty of appearances of the classic one. The modern one is treated more like an upgrade, a final form for Carnage. Again, to put it in common writer terms, and it feels very welcoming in that way. Of it's not like here's this crazy Carnage that a bunch of shit has happened to him and you don't understand who he is anymore. It's just like no, Carnage is here. He's being a shit. He's causing some fuckboy shit, and he's got some extra tools in his arsenal that were introduced in another story, but you don't need to worry about it.
Henshin compilation. We might get one with fucking Red Goblin though.
Yeah.
Because we'll talk about that later. Because I also read the other one that's part of this little mini series. I think.
Yeah, I think we both did.
And Normie's part of that, so.
All kinds of crazy Carnage symbiote shit happening this week, and I think this is a solid start to the event.
Yeah,
I'm here for it.
You also read The Flash.
Yeah, this is the beginning of the final arc of Jeremy Adams's run, and it starts off pretty wholesomely. And then, well, I'll get into it because we start off in the hospital. Linda has already given birth, and it's a boy. Wade West is now a member of the Flash family. Little baby Wade West. And they're all having their wholesome like meeting the new member of the family moment, and then Wally's like, okay, let's let your mom rest for a bit. I'm gonna take you kids to school, and I gotta go do a work thing. I'm gonna go test this new multiverse engine with Mr. Terrific, and they go to do that. And as they're doing it, we intercut with the hospital, and we see an older woman come in and say like, "Hey, Linda, I need to take the baby for some tests." And she's like, "Oh, okay, that's fine." And as she's walking out, she says, "Don't cry, little one. Granny's got you."
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then they set off the multiverse engine, and it causes a fucking explosion in various parts of the city. It's just like this boom, 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 boom in the lab, in the hospital, and in several other places. And Wally hears about this, and he rushes off to help Linda, and finds out about the baby getting taken. And they're like, "Oh shit, we gotta put together a team. We gotta go to Apocalypse." So they go back, and like they're examining the multiverse engine, and fucking Our Man emerges from it, and he's like, "Hey, I was trapped in a pocket dimension, and the explosion freed me. So thanks for that. But also, like, the guy I was trying to keep trapped in that pocket dimension with me escaped, and now we got to go hunt him down too. So I guess add that to your road trip." And Wally's like, "Okay, we're dealing. This is now like a crazy intergalactic time travel and multiverse thing. So I'm gonna call in a big gun." And so he sets off a paradox just to summon Gold Beetle. And it's funny because when we met her during the 1 Minute War, she was already pretty aware of everybody, but it was their first time meeting her. Now it's the other way around because she comes charging in guns blazes, and she says, "What is wrong with you, Gnort knockers?" And she's like, "Who the heck are you people? What have you been doing messing with time?" And he's like, "Oh, this is the first. Okay, explain. We need your help. We need your ship." And then they go and get several other people, including
I see
Plastic Man
Mr.
and
Terrific.
Metamorpho.
I see Mr. Terrific on the cover.
Oh yeah, I said Mr. Terrific is here. He was the guy who designed the multiverse engine that kicked all this off.
Wait. Are they gonna get Phantom Girl?
I don't think Phantom Girl is here.
Come on! You had a chance to reunite the Terrifics and you don't do it?
Wait a minute. Is Phantom Girl a brunette?
Yes, she has black hair.
Okay, I think I'm looking at her right now.
She has kind of ghosty
There's
powers.
this one group shot that my fucking camera does not want to focus on.
I can barely see that.
There we go.
Let's see. That might be Phantom Girl.
Okay. So it's Wally, Ace, the Terrifics, Gold Beetle, and Our Man teaming up to fix a hole that they put in the multiverse and then go rescue Wade West. And there's like a funny moment where they get in Mr. Terrific's ship and they're like, "Okay, we're setting our course for Apocalypse," and then they do a Star Trek reference, and Wally gets called a nerd by Ace, and then they go into warp, and we're hitting on everything with this fucking run because the to be continued is fucking the wrestling guy that Wally teamed up with a few issues ago.
Holy shit!
It's their windscreen, and he's like, "Oh, tag team partner, let's go!" So
he wants to help.
Yeah. So yeah, fun start to this arc. Very very excited to see where it goes from here. Gonna be sad to see this run end, but also like we're getting more Mark Waid Flash, so I'll be checking that out.
It just seems like, hey, Mark, can you just fix all of our comics for us real quick, please, and thank you.
Yeah. They're putting him in the Jeff Johns position, which he really should have been in decades ago.
Yeah. I read Stillwater, number 12.
Hey,
So shit's fucked.
nice.
Of course it is. It's a horror book. Main dude's mom comes back and she's like, "Yo, they only call me every like 2 weeks. The kids are fully like they're mentally fully grown adults. They don't need me around. So I just fucking skipped so we can just go like solve the problem, and we're just gonna kill all the bastards who are dicking us over, like take them out of the boundary, kill them, and then we're just gonna come clean. Who gives a shit if the government takes over this fucking area? Doesn't matter. This has fucked up our lives too much. Let's just get fucking rid of it."
Logical.
So they try and do that. They run into the kid, and the kid's like, "The fuck you doing, man? We were on a better path, doing all that." And she's like, and he just like, the kid leader provokes her, and she just shotguns him to the head. And she's like, "Fuck!" Now they hear that, and they're coming after her. Meanwhile, main character dude is getting burned at the stake by the dickhead sheriff,
Oh boy.
outside of the boundary to die.
Oh boy.
But in the scuffle, the mom and the other female character, the lady sheriff, like break a map and somehow redraw the boundary of the city. And we see that the dude is now in the boundary and he is healing. So it's magic.
Well, shit.
So like they're fucked because it's just like, "Oh, we thought we killed this guy and he's not dying." Shit. And everything's just going to shit. It's really good. Stillwater's really good.
Nice.
We both read Batman number 900.
Yeah, Legacy number 900. What is it? What is it technically? It's like
135.
135. Yeah. This was really fucking good.
This was really good.
This is
I would say this is simultaneously a refute of everybody who has shitty ass Joker takes, and also just a celebration of Batman.
yeah, it's a perfect anniversary issue, but also a perfect wrap up to this arc. You know, you're gonna get mad at me. This is accomplishing the mission that Super Mega Force failed to have in its finale.
Of course you bring it back around. Of course you bring her back around.
Always, because it's like the normal length of the comic is wrapping up the story of the dimension Bruce has been trapped in all this time, and then right at what would be the normal end of the issue, some shit gets fucked, and then he goes on a crazy multiverse adventure, meeting all the most popular alternate takes on Batman from both comics and adaptations you can think of, ending with Tim showing up and being like, "Hey, bitch, let's go home."
Yeah, and Bruce is just like, "Fucking thank you."
Mm-hmm.
But like, there is a big Chip Zdarsky saying y'all are fucking wrong about the Joker, assholes.
Yeah.
That basically, the guy's trying to see the moment the Joker became the Joker so he can go insane, and it's just like, wait a second, no, I caused him to go insane. Kind of like bullshit. Like, ugh. Like, that's not the thing. Like, take it or leave it.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end, the Batman just goes like, "It doesn't matter if you're insane or not. You could have been anything here. You could have been a doctor. You could have been a guy who cures cancer. No, you become an asshole. Maybe that's all you chose.
You chose. Oh, hello.
Oh yeah, I don't know what happened there.
You chose to become an asshole, and you could have chosen to be anything else. The Joker is not Batman's fault. The Joker is the Joker's fault.
Batman pushed the one button to turn him into the Joker.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if he wasn't there, he would have been something else.
Yeah. And it's also like, just Chip Zdarsky going like, here's my little hot take on various versions of Batman. that you might know, and this little aspect might be kind of debated. Like, does like Arkham Batman? Yeah, he wonders if things might have gone differently if he hadn't if he had saved the Joker, but also he ultimately thinks it's a good thing that the Joker died when he did. 60s Batman. Yeah, he's a bit odd and a bit of a goofball, but he's also the most prepared Batman ever, and that makes him useful. Friggin' Dark Knight Returns Batman. He did not kill the Joker. The Joker killed himself.
But like you can also see that there's one panel where he like thinks about it, and it's like where you can kind of tell it's like he wanted to almost.
Mm-hmm. He might have, but he didn't do it because that's not Batman.
Yeah, like it's very much this is probably the best version of Frank Miller's Batman in fucking ever.
Mm-hmm.
And we only get like 3 pages of him.
Yeah. Also, like, there's a weird amount of time devoted to freaking vampire Elseworlds Batman.
I thought it was cute. It was just to kind of be like, what the fuck is it's meant to jar you, you know?
Because it's very much a roller coaster ride of like, oh, it's that guy. Oh shit, it's that guy. Oh, it's that guy.
Oh, hey, it's Keaton. It's like, oh, that's fun.
Yeah. He shows up and he's like, hey, I'm Batman. Let me tell you about a great movie that's coming out this summer called The Flash.
Hey, it's whatever, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, through
also Terry gets an extended sequence.
That was the best fucking thing because that totally just feels like straight canon to the DCAU.
Yeah. Because it's not drawn like they draw those characters in the comic universe versions of that future. It is just straight up, here is us taking the animation style of that show and putting our Batman into it.
The one thing I really do enjoy though is throughout the whole thing, each of the Batman is like giving him a piece of advice of like, hey, this is what me being Batman's like. Here's this chunk of like bat suit. Here, let's give you a good bat suit, fix you up, make you look pretty. Like the Dark Knight Batman gives him a robot hand because his hand gets chopped off.
Mm-hmm. Or friggin' Kingdom Come Batman just stares at him judgmentally.
But like you can like there's so much in just that one picture of Alex Ross-esque art.
No, that was Alex Ross. He came back to do that, and he also did a variant. He also did a variant cover for this.
I know he's doing a lot more work with Marvel right now, but like fuck yeah. Good on you, Alex.
And yeah, that was the thing that got me to finally get off my ass and read Kingdom Come this week.
Kingdom Come good.
Yeah, Kingdom Come goated.
And yeah, the new Batsuit is a take on the Dark Knight Returns Batsuit with the Adam West Bat Belt.
Mm-hmm. It's a very cool mix. I like it.
Yeah, it's really good.
Not my favorite version of the symbol, but it works. And also that fucking last page reveal of like, Zdarsky isn't just playing with that concept. He's full on doing a thesis on it.
Yeah, because every place Batman showed up, he's grabbed a Batman of Zur-En-Ah.
Mm-hmm. It's like he spread Zur-En-Ah throughout the multiverse like an infection, and that's probably going to come back to bite him.
But the final, like, seeing a Michael Keaton Zur-En-Ah, a Batman Beyond Zur-En-Ah, an Adam West Zur-En-Ah, like, all these ones that would never have a Zur-En-Ah version, just having one now is like...
And I can just hear Todd salivating in the distance at all the variant action figures he can now make.
Oh, yeah. Batman's good.
Mm-hmm.
I know some people have shat on Zdarsky's Batman because he's doing a very Zdarsky thing.
Yeah. If you don't like Chip Zdarsky, you're probably not going to like his take on Batman. But like, I'm very back and forth on Chip, but I feel like this is a very good Chip book, and you're a hardcore Chip Zdarsky fan.
Chip. I love
Chip. You like Chip as much as I like the Toms.
Yeah, Chip, because Chip gets what I really like about comics, which is continuity is fun, but it also is incredibly dumb, and you can use it to tell jokes and pathos.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Batman Zur and Awe, like, it's taken elements from other people that's like, oh, that's... Grant Morrison brought Batman Zur and Awe and did what they did with it, right? And then no one else really touched Zur and Awe. And Chizdarsky's going like, no, it's a part of Batman now. Why don't we play with it? Play with this element of Batman. Oh, you mean we haven't touched the end of Tower of Babel in years, even though that is a huge loose end?
That's like one of the most important talked about DC stories of the last however long it's been since it came out.
Let's kind of wrap that loose end while also telling a cool Batman story, while also making a definitive statement on who Batman is after that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, he is still untrustworthy, but he also doesn't trust himself anymore. Like, there's a lot of cool elements here. Batman good.
We're at a point now where, like, Batman is still, like, he still has his iron will. He's still able to take down any villain and have, like, a good argument against whatever they're trying to do. But he's also shaken his faith in himself, and he needs to build that back up.
Yeah, and I think this issue was to do that some, because he sees all the other Batman just going like, yeah, we're Batman. We don't give up. We're heroes.
Yeah.
Batman good. I read The Avengers War Across Time.
Oh, what is the deal with this?
It is one of the... Okay, you know how Marvel's been doing these insert back in older stories kind of things?
Okay, I thought so. That's why I didn't read it. I've been generally avoiding those because I haven't read the original stories for most cases.
This takes place after Avengers number 11. Like, it's
Damn.
that far back.
Is that like the first appearance of Kang?
Yes.
Okay, because I thought this was a Kang story.
This is a Kang story. Basically, this is like them going like, we never really... They never really wrapped up that story completely of like what Kang was specifically doing in that one issue. Kang came back and did stuff, but never like finished up on what that element was. Which was originally Kang wanted to invade, Kang wanted to conquer that period of time because it has the most fertile farmland and act as like the food source for his war. Okay. And it's just them trying to deal with it. It feels like a classic Avengers story. It's like, and then this thing happens, and then this thing happens, and then this thing happens.
It's just Stanley throwing out ideas, except it's not Stanley. Who is it?
Paul Levitz. And he nails like certain elements of Stan Lee's classic writing style. Like, Thor is brash and argumentative. Janet flirts with everyone and just keeps going on and on about like how everyone else is dreamy. But like, he recontextualizes it something fun of like, yeah, she's doing that to kind of be like a little tease to Hank. She's not just drooling over Thor. She's going like, oh, Thor's so dreamy. What do you think about that, Hank? And Hank's just going like, right. I'll keep a note of this. I'm gonna fuck it into your brains later. And she's like, oh, I want you to. Like, that's the kind of tone they have. Eventually they go into the future. They fight Kang for a little bit, and he's like, fuck you. Sends him back through time. And then we just get a little kind of fun, like, Avengers through the years. And we have some panels of them going like, what is these visions? And you see, like, the Avengers fighting Thanos, and it's the 70s Avengers with Beast and Wonder Man. And it's later Avengers teams and all this kind of stuff. And it's just like, what can be. And then they end up back in New York, and they're just like, Jesus fuck, I need a fucking sleep. Oh, God. And that's kind of where the book ends. It's a fun little, like, mini-series. That's all it is.
Yeah, nice.
But the one thing I will say about this is the art is phenomenal. It feels like a book from the late 60s, early 70s.
Oh, wow.
And the best part about it was the coloring. So, okay, you've seen digital remasters of like books from that time
Yeah.
and how they remaster the colors and make them flat and that kind of stuff. Where like you understand, that's how they colored this. They purposefully colored it like it's a digital remaster of an old comic.
That's kind of cool.
So you're reading it and visually it feels like a comic from that time. It doesn't feel out of place.
Yeah.
And there's a cute little thing because they have a Comics Code Authority stamp, but it's not a Comics Code Authority. It says approved by the Time Variance Authority. It's a cute book. There's a lot of cute elements. You can read it without knowing a super ton about the early Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was just a stopgap between the last Avengers run and the upcoming Avengers run.
Yeah, I always love those parody Comics Code Authority things when you're doing stuff that's of that time. Like I remember, I don't know if they still do them, but there used to be variant covers for Power Rangers as if they were classic comics from around the time of the Comics Code Authority, and it would say approved by the authority of Zordon.
Mm-hmm. We both read Peacemaker Tries Hard.
This is just what if the show was a comic.
Yeah, with like less of the supporting characters.
Yeah, this is more focused directly on Peacemaker, but it has that same sense of humor and a very similar interpretation of the character, I feel like. Like, this is not the Peacemaker that's in Doom Patrol right now. This is very much John Cena's Peacemaker.
Oh, reading it, I heard John Cena.
Yeah. And the art even kind of looks like him.
But yeah, no. He saves a doggy.
Yeah, he saves a doggy and adopts the doggy, talks about what a handsome little gentleman the doggy is. And then
names him Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, and then Monsieur Mala shows up and is like, hey, we need you to steal me a body, you fucker.
I like that whole thing because like it's a fun back and forth, and I just love, oh my god, is that a monkey with a heavy machine gun? What, fuck you, you asshole. And then the gorilla speaks in French of like, we it's like, he would like to inform you that it is a heavy machine gun.
I also love how, like, he just does not get how things work at all. Like, he thinks instant cake mix is just, you don't need anything for it.
Yeah. Also, the fucking beginning is a great little button on just, like, how different this Peacemaker is from the classic character in the comics.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they're doing a Voyage of the Dawn, like, they're doing, whatever, from Watchmen.
Yeah, the people, you see that? They're making a movie of Tales of the Black Freighter. That's awesome. I love that comic. You know, they're going to mess it up somehow. They always got to change it a little from the original. Yeah, why is that?
It's cute, but it's also like, oh yeah, because Peacemaker is the inspiration for the comedian, and like,
Yeah, references. Cute. Also, the fucking Suicide Squad being like, do not tell him we're in the room, Amanda.
He showed us VHS porn. It's a good book. It's a good book.
It's a really solid book. And like it's a Black Label book, and they say like there's gonna be graphic violence and stuff. The current Wolverine book is more graphic than this. The current fucking The Thing book is more graphic than this. It's more so about like language and Adult Swim style potty humor.
Oh yeah. Dick puppets.
Mm-hmm.
I read Moon Knight, number 23.
Oh, I love Marvel Team.
This is actually just like a one-shot adventure. Dylan Brock comes in and goes like, hey, I need help. Can you help me? My dad said you would help me. He says you're crazy, but you would help me. And Moon Knight's like, yeah, no, kid, I'll help you. And like, genuinely, Moon Knight's like a guiding light for Dylan here of just like being a good role model and being just like a straight up good superhero.
Nice.
Because like Dylan Brock's running away from the new enforcers and he just needs some help. And he's like, yeah, no, we'll help him. I'll help you. Let's do this.
Yeah.
And I love how Moon Knight's kind of getting to a little bit more of a solid ground character wise. Of like, no, he's in a healthy place right now. It's good.
Good.
Also, it's nice to see Dylan Brock because we've been diving a lot of Eddie stuff in the Venom book. So,
Yeah.
I read Groot.
How was this? I was somewhat interested in this, but I also like saw the synopsis explicitly say like this has nothing to do with the current Guardians run. Do not enter if you're looking for stuff about the current Guardians run. So I was like, okay.
This just seems like a way to have like an N616 canon baby Groot.
Oh, okay.
But it's a cute enough story. Groot and two new Groot-like characters called Tweeg and Gleef.
Mm.
And they respectively say, "I am Tweeg" and "I am Gleef."
Mm.
Um, are just like little kids hanging around on their planet, listening to grandma stories and just exploring. Um, when some fucking dipshits come in and attack and kidnap them. We then cut to some Kree warriors, including a young Private Marvel.
Oh boy.
And it's his first days on the job. And you see like his heroic attitude kind of coming through of like all this kind of stuff. And he's like, oh yeah, no, he's like hot shot and he's all this kind of stuff. He finds these three kids and he's like, hey, we're the good guys. We need to get them back home. And like his commanding officer's like, we got to talk to our superiors about this. And superiors are like, sure, whatever, you two go deal with that. And like they're just sent off their own, his captain and him. So they go to Planet X and they try to do it, but they land and a member of Yondu's species is there.
Uh-oh.
And she's like doing an arrow. Also, new Marvel robot creature.
Oh boy.
Chainsaurus.
Oh boy.
They're mechanized, they're biomechanical dinosaurs with chainsaws all over their bodies that are used to just deforest entire planets.
Oh my god.
So of course they're like mortal enemies to Groot and his people.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's fun. You see a lot of cute moments of Marvel trying to talk to Groot, and they're just like, "Oh, is it like an empathic, telepathic language?" It's like, no, it's just very inflection based, and like with a million and one nuances that we're just too stupid to understand.
Mm.
Like they are saying the words "I am Groot," but it's 1,001 minor, minuscule inflections that you will never understand. Yeah, it's good. It's cute. It's not groundbreaking, but it's cute.
Nice.
You read Love Everlasting.
Hey, another issue of Tom King's Independent. Hey, I like romance comics. Let's do a modern fucked up romance comic book. This is a very interesting issue because it's the first one that's not like here's a new setting and she's trying to find her way out of it. It is following up directly on the last issue where she was like, okay, the like over and over again, she was going like, okay, the scenario should end here. Okay, it should end here. Okay, usually it would end here. What the fuck is going on? Why am I actually marrying this guy? What is happening? We cut forward a few years in this to like they're married and they have a few kids now and they're living like this calm 60s domestic life and she seems happy and like she's just going about the day-to-day stuff until eventually she has a breakdown and she's like what the she remembers everything. She's like what the fuck is going on? And she freaks out and destroys the living room and her husband is like are you okay? And she just ignores it and tries to go back to the normal life and then she has a breakdown in the park and her husband is like maybe you should see a shrink and she just keeps ignoring everything while also having these breakdowns occasionally to the point where her family decides to commit her. And it is a really interesting sort of like again, King keeps doing these kind of metatextual commentaries on the nature of romance in literature, and like how the ideals of the stereotypical ideal of what a woman's life would be throughout the history of literature. And this is him going like, yo, fucking, hey, hot take here, 1960s housewifism was probably really fucked up and oppressive for women. uh and it's like, yeah, man, we all know that, but also cool way of showing it.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see where the book goes from here, because next issue it looks like the cowboy might show up again. So we'll see what's going on there.
You read Gwenpool Part 5.
Yeah, I read parts 4 and 5 because the website took a minute to get part 4 up. And so part 6 is already out, but the website hasn't gotten it up yet. And we all know where this is going. I assume you've seen on Tumblr or something like that.
Yeah.
And having not read the final part, I have to say I'm really on the fence on this, because the way Whiteley is trying to get Gwen to the point we know she's at now, which I don't know why I'm being so vague about it. Whiteley retconned Gwen to be asexual. And as anybody who watches this show would know, for a very long time, pretty much her entire history, I have always read Gwenpool as a bi character.
Because that's what she was.
Yeah.
She was canonically bi.
And there are like full-on flashbacks to her life in the real world, where it's like, oh, she had a friend group, and then everybody but her paired off, and they kept trying to set her up with people, and she didn't like that. She just wanted it to be a friend group. And there's like a scene where her and Julie Power in this start having a sexy time, but then she like friggin' has a panic attack and is like, no, this is gross and I'm not comfortable. And there's like a lot of talk about like Gwen full-on says, this is gonna sound weird because I've kissed you a lot, but I never want to kiss anybody. And I'm like, okay, I'm a straight guy, but from what I know of the asexual experience, this is very accurate. And I would expect that because I know Jeremy Whiteley is an asexual man. So,
and we're also friends with Pan, who is ace, and that's often the experiences he has explained.
Mm-hmm. And like I watch a couple different YouTubers who are ace and have talked about their experiences of being ace. So I know, I'm not going to say like I'm an expert, but I know a little bit about being ace, and I understand some experiences, and this seems very accurate to everything I know. It doesn't seem accurate to Gwenpool. It feels like one of the hardest retcons I've seen in a while, because Gwenpool has been one of the most aggressively sexual characters in modern comics, and it's always been geared towards the joke of like, she doesn't understand boundaries and she's attracted to both genders. Like, there are full-on... There's a freaking scene in Gwenpool Strikes Back where she looks at Steve Rogers and fucking, what's his name, Winter Soldier, Bucky Barnes, in swimsuits, and she's like, you guys are hot, you should start wrestling. So, this, like, I don't want to say this is wrong or this is bad, but this characterization feels extremely off to me, and I do not like it.
Yeah, I didn't read this, but I've seen some of the panels, and like, I agree, it doesn't feel right for Gwen. And their explanations I've read were apparently that some of the previous books gave them ace like vibes, and I'm just like, not, I don't see them.
Mm-hmm.
Looking back at those books, I don't see them. And if like you're going like, well, she's always, the only reason she's pursuing relationships is because she doesn't want to be canceled out of her books, like, that's the joke. Like, there's an already
you're kind of ruining the joke by taking subtext and making it text.
But it's also like, that's not the subtext. The subtext is she's a person from the real world, and she's looking at all these fictional characters, and that's the gag. There's that boundary.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also the fact that they're taking a bisexual character, a character who's already LGBT, and just saying like no.
And like it's a weird catch-22, right? Because it's like, yeah, we can use plenty of more ace characters in comics, but also like Marvel already has an ace teenage girl character who Jeremy Whiteley co-created and made ace. Fucking Nadia is right there. If you want to write a story that's more overtly about asexual, why don't you just go back to Nadia? Why do you have to co-opt Gwen like this? And I hate saying that, because I feel like I'm turning into one of those raging alt-right assholes who can't stand any LGBTQ representation. But it's just the fact of, like, this feels wrong for Gwen, and, like, as much as, like, I'm happy for the asexual people who I've seen latch on to this and go, like, oh, another character that represents our group, I kind of hope this gets directly retconned out in her next appearance.
Here's the thing. This is also an internet book. It's already retconned out.
Mm-hmm.
Unless Marvel editorials like very on the ball, it's like, no, you gotta be the next person who writes Gwenpool, who wants to write Gwenpool, will look back at all the fucking printed books and go like, oh, she's bi.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, she's bisexual. There we go. I don't know, because like we said, there's already a pre-established thing of like overtly she likes to be in a relationship, she engages with them. It's just like,
and I thought that's where this was going. I thought it was Jeremy Whiteley playing around with, oh, Gwen's bi, so let's just make it more overt that she's a disaster bi. And surprise, it was a secret, hey, I'm asexual and I read this character as asexual, so now I'm going to retcon them to be asexual. And like, I like Whiteley. I've met the guy in person, and he's a nice guy, and he's a good writer, and I generally respect him. But this was a shitty move, in my opinion, dude.
There's also the fact of like, apparently the final issue just kind of feels like it's a Wikipedia article for asexuality.
Wow. I can't wait to read that and fucking talk about it in a week or two then.
I don't know. Here, like, that's the problem. It's like, yeah, we can rail on and go like, why are they making her bi ace? I mean, it was like, yeah, because she was already bi. That's what she was, and it's like,
yeah, like, now, and the thing is, like, it also just feels gross because like it's bi erasure, and bi people have as much. Are like having as much an uphill battle of getting representation right now as ace people are. Like, bi and ace people are both kind of in the same place that gay people were 5 years ago.
It's just I understand why they were doing it, but also like it feels like, oh, it's a fan favorite character, it gives the brownie points kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know. It feels icky to talk about it like that, but like,
it's weird because, like, again, we're two straight white dudes. So what do we know at the end of the day? All we can say is like, this characterization did not work for us, and I'm a little bit trepidatious about the future of this. And it like, the reason, usually I would just say, like, oh, that's kind of weird, whatever, moving on. But this is, like, one of my favorite characters at Marvel right now. So, like, this really messes with me a little bit to see something that I feel is very off happening and could potentially be, like, a permanent thing with the character going forward.
Yeah. Here's the thing. If you wanted to act, like, I will say this. You could make Gwenpool partially ace, because that's the thing. It's gray, where it's like you every once in a while feel the sexual attraction, but it's not a consistent it's not a consistent reliable thing. But yeah. No, they were in like adding that to Gwen. Yeah, I can totally see gray ace bisexual Gwen. That makes sense to me. That can vibe. But just to immediately say like, no, pure ace arrow ace is like, no.
Yeah.
No, she gets
'Cause
too wrapped up in...
That's the way these two issues read to me a whole lot. Is like I'm romantically attracted to Julie, but I don't want to kiss her because kissing is icky. Like she literally says, it feels like two snakes fighting for dominance in a gross way. She says like I'm paraphrasing, but she kind of says that in one panel of the comic, and I'm like, that does not feel like something she would have said when she was on West Coast Avengers.
Yeah. I don't know. Not to belabor the point, but it's a thing. It happened. It'll probably be retconned, and if it were up to me, I would retcon it in the way that everybody's right. She's demisexual, gray ace, whichever terminology would work best for her. I think gray ace, bisexual.
Mm-hmm.
She's not aromantic. She is not. She is too wrapped up in the storytelling to be aromantic.
Yeah.
Hi, I read Scarlet Witch.
Okay, how was that?
It's a fun little wrap up to this little arc if it's continuing. I'm pretty sure it's continuing. Scarlet beats the person who's trying to kill Darcy, and she goes like, all right, cool, I guess we can change our traditions. You're like, they have a conversation, they fight, it's fun. Darcy's gonna stay working for Wanda, and then at the very end, we hear a monologue, and it's just like, sometimes like I feel like a ghost because sometimes I like something I'm like dead, and then you see a man in a black suit and a Magneto helmet.
Oh boy.
Here's the thing, I don't think it's Magneto. I think it's the resurrection of Joseph, his clone.
Oh boy.
Which would be hilarious. But yeah, no, good book. Good book.
Nice.
We both read Misery.
What the fuck is going on at Marvel right now? That the main Spider-Man book sucks ass, but a side book, a fucking spin-off of a spin-off about Liz goddamn Allen rules.
Dude, I've been saying that every fucking week.
I know, but I got to experience that emotion for the first time this week.
Oh, it's fun. It's fun. It's cool to see, like, Liz Allen trying to deal with the Osborn curse.
Mm-hmm. A lot of cool, like, business politics, her having to be, like, the shrewd, tough businesswoman when on the inside, she kind of just wants to do whatever's best for her kids.
Yeah, and there's a lot of sweet moments between her and Harry in flashbacks.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, those are sweet.
They did love each other. It wasn't just an arm candy marriage.
Yeah, no, they genuinely cared for each other. But there's a moment that's heartbreaking of her just going like, you have all this money, you gotta look in your eyes and they still feel sad. And he's like, I look in your eyes and they feel sad. And then they both kind of look at each other and go like, you know who always looks happy? Peter Parker.
Yeah.
And it's just like, god damn.
Mm-hmm. Also, the fucking guardsmen are in this, and they're really cool for once.
Oh, yeah. Also, remember, Liz Allen's the CEO of Alchemex.
Yeah.
Yo, you know what's something interesting? It feels like this could be the groundwork that could eventually lead to the program Miguel O'Hara was working on in 2099. I'm not saying this is, but like it feels like there's that kind of element. But they're working on symbiotes. Are you still there, bud?
I'm still here.
Okay, you were just not moving.
Yeah, I was just kind of looking at the comic. How do we feel about I almost said Gwen, about Liz getting symbiote powers now? About yet another symbiote character being introduced?
I think it's just temporary for the event.
Yeah.
The idea behind it's cool though. It's like anti-venom and Carnage having mixed. Like you have to have control of your own anger and everything.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna be a sick Marvel Legends.
The only thing is that's kind of weird is why does she have red hair on the cover?
We wanted to trick people into thinking it was Mary Jane because people are wondering what the fuck is going on with Mary Jane.
Oh god, some of the panel leaks for the next issue.
Oh boy.
Fucking hell. We both read Adventures of Superman, John Kent.
So this is just the next issue of Injustice.
Yeah.
Like they're like this isn't John's book anymore. This was just Taylor going like, "Oh, people are really angry about the way I've been writing John. Why don't I just get back to the thing people know and love me for?"
This feels like, I can understand that, but it feels like he's going like, I will use this thing that people really know me for as like a counterpoint conversation to have with John.
Mm-hmm. Because it's John seeing the world of injustice and going like, "No, this is fucked up."
But also realizing like this is why his dad is always temperate with what he does, and
Mm-hmm.
um
Also, just really interesting again to read this issue the week I finally read Kingdom Come, because I had that realization of like, oh, Injustice is just this generation's Kingdom Come.
yeah, but also has less to say.
Yeah. Kingdom Come is more thoroughly like, here's why Superman shouldn't be this and will never be this. And then Injustice is like, what if he was, though? What if we did that? Let's see how that works.
Yeah. But I also love the final scene of him helping someone and him just going like, why does the world feel so quiet?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's not quiet because it's peaceful. It's quiet because they're afraid of him.
Yeah, that felt very Justice Lords.
But like, it's a fascinating version of the Justice Lords or the Injustice Gang or whatever they are, like the Ultraman.
Yeah.
Because like he sees himself as a good guy right now. He's like, no, I'm doing the best thing I can right now. It's like, I'm trying to keep the world safe. And it's like, you're a despot.
Mm-hmm. And he's also just constantly going like, I need to ease you into things because you need to understand that this is a good thing, and I did it because I lost you. And then Wonder Woman is right there going like, Cal, that's not your son. That's someone else's son. You need to calm down.
Yeah, no. It's fascinating though, having not read the Injustice comic.
Mm-hmm.
It's good.
It really does feel like we just stepped back into that world as somebody who read that whole book.
Mm.
Especially with the way Damien is treated in this. That was like, oh man, I wouldn't have fought to, but very, very smart to have this version of Damien be one of the first alternate versions to meet this John.
Because this John is also friends with Damien.
Mm-hmm. And this is a radically different Damien than he's used to, but you can see traits of the main universe Damien in him.
Yeah. And this is fascinating. It's good. I like it.
Yeah. Good book so far.
Immortal X-Men.
Oh shit. Oh fuck.
Okay, brief idea of what this book is. Everyone is just dealing with the fucking trauma of realizing, oh wow, we destroyed an entire universe for millennia.
Yeah, it is a lot of Storm just like taking various characters through the ringer and going like, no, you need to understand. We can't let you do certain things anymore because of all of this. But also we have to keep up appearances, so you're still going to have your titles and shit, just no power.
But it's also like, hey, you need to recognize that you were capable of that. Yes, Sinister had a hand in it, but you're capable of it. And like the responses of it is like, Hope full on breaks down. It's like, nope, fuck that. I don't ever want to be that. And she's like tearing everyone apart away from her.
And Exodus is like, but baby, come on, we could still try, we could still make this work.
And like he's broken that will because it's like, oh my god, I killed her.
Mm-hmm.
His faith is broken. It's like, what?
Yeah, and Charles is just doing his usual
hubris.
All right, I still think I'm right in the end, but I'll do whatever it takes to get through this crisis.
And Emma has the most fascinating response. It's like, yeah, no, it sucks. I did bad. I recognize it. I'm gonna try to avoid that. Storm, you didn't have Sinister in your brain. You're culpable because you didn't notice us being assholes for 3 fucking years.
Mm-hmm. But also she's like, I've been a villain before. I'm used to having shame. It's fine. I'll get over it.
Yeah, it's fascinating. But they all go like, "Hey, Storm, you're spread too thin. You're on Araco, you're on Krakoa. Everything's going tits up with you. You need to figure out how to balance your powers better." So she goes to the one person she thinks she can trust and says like, "Hey, if I'm not here to take a vote, you have my vote. You have my power." And it's
And
fucking Colossus.
it's secret asshole Colossus, who now has free votes on the Quiet Council because Kurt gave his vote to Storm, and now she gave her vote to Colossus, which technically means his vote counts for free votes, which means he can fucking overrule anyone about anything, basically.
And here's the other thing. He doesn't want to be a secret asshole. Remember, he's being like mentally blackmailed and brainwashed and shit. He's like, he's not an asshole. He's like sleeper agent.
Yeah, he thinks he's a good boy, but he's
and he's on
boy.
the X-Force now. He has all the dirty secrets.
The fall of X. It's been staring us in the face the whole fucking time.
And people were complaining, "Oh, when's that gonna come back? When's Colossus gonna come back and do shit?" Well, he's
Hickman
doing shit.
Plays the long game, boys.
Yeah, and he fucking knew who, and like he trusted Gillen and fucking everybody at the X team to fucking complete the goal.
Yeah, because I don't think it was he was forced out anymore. I think it was very much he got other ideas and he was like, "Oh, I need to do these now or they're not going to work. So, guys, here are my notes. Finish this for me. I'm going to go do this other thing."
I also do think like there may have been a creative difference of like Hickman going like, "Oh, it's going to take like 3 years or give or take," and the team was like, "We have like one more year of ideas that we want to play with. Can we get 4?" And it's like, "Okay, look, you can do the 4 years. I trust you. Here's my notes. I have some other things I would like to do that I don't want to just be wrapped up for 4 years doing this."
Mm-hmm.
I think it was perfectly amicable kind of thing.
Yeah.
And we both read Shazam.
This book is kind of hilarious because it feels very much like Mark Waid is just going, "Yeah, no, we're done with New 52 Shazam now. We're just gonna force him back into being classic Shazam, and nobody's gonna care because this is a great issue."
I don't know what's the difference between New 52 and this Shazam. I just really enjoyed this.
New 52 was a lot moodier, a lot like we're trying to realistically write a teenager, whereas this feels very much getting back to classic Billy Batson, where Captain Marvel is this sort of altruistic superhero persona he puts on, and then occasionally you'll see him doing kid stuff as Captain Marvel, but Billy is the persona that allows him to do stupid kid stuff.
Yeah. He does stupid kid stuff in his secret lair where he's just hanging by himself and letting himself be free.
Mm-hmm. And he just does fantastical, crazy superhero stuff as Captain Marvel that would make kids go, "Oh, I wish I was Captain Marvel."
He saves a family of dinosaur aliens.
Yeah, and also like we were talking about this as a news article a while back, but they do definitively say he's now called the Captain because it's a derogatory nickname that Freddie and Mary came up with based on a maritime incident.
But it's cute. It works. That's how teenagers would name themselves.
And it also calls back to the Captain used to be a shorthand term for him way back in the day of old school comic fandom of like the 40s and 50s.
Yeah. Was the tiger in New 52 Shazam, or is he bringing that back?
I believe he was introduced in the Rebirth era ongoing. But it was much more just like Shazam has a pet tiger with some magic abilities. This is just straight up like, no, we're back to classic Taki Tani, and we're not gonna explain it because it's Taki Tani. You don't need to explain it.
Yeah, no. I also like how they say Fawcett City's a borough of Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
to kind of give it like it's part of a big city, but it's its own thing, and it's kind of like they get to have their cake and eat it too.
Yeah. And like it just feels very much like Mark Waid going like, all right, Shazam is kind of popular again. Here is classic as classic can be Shazam. And then at the very end, we're going to turn it on its head and set up a problem that feels very modern,
Yeah,
which is,
he gets brain controlled.
yeah, he flies off the handle while there's a bunch of cameras on him. And it's very clearly not him, but only we can see that because we're the reader. Um, I think this is Black Adam doing some fuckboy shit.
I don't think it's Black Adam.
Who do you think it is?
Mr. Like, what is the worm's name?
Mr. Mind?
Mind. It's right there.
Could be.
And
could
also,
be.
Mark Waid is going like, hey, classic Shazam is value. It's cool. And bringing back Mr. Mind as like a bad guy and making him like a serious threat, that'd be fun.
Mm-hmm. Also, we're not going to talk about them tonight because I don't think either of us had time to go out for it. And also, it wasn't updated on the site until literally just now. I was just checking.
Oh.
The free comic book day issues are up on the website. So we'll read those and we'll talk about them next week.
Nice. But that is all the comics we read this week. Yeah. How about that?
That was a pretty quick no prize.
Pretty quick no prize. Pretty solid. Buddy pie.
Obviously some stopgaps, obviously some little cafoozles right here and there, but overall, I think this has been a solid episode.
Solid week, solid episode. Hey, tell the people where they can find you.
Hey everybody, I'm the Vacuuminator. I make YouTube videos. You can find them at youtube.com/thevacuuminator. I'm also on Twitter @thevacuuminator, on Tumblr thevacuuminator.tumblr.com, on TikTok @the_vacuuminator, and on Instagram @the_vacuuminator. I make all kinds of content that I hope you will enjoy and engage with in the algorithm.
Yeah. Hi, howdy. I'm Boingo Writer. I do variety content on the internet. I stream on Twitch Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays. I post videos on YouTube @Boingo Writer. I have a weekly review of Kamen Rider Geats and a weekly review of King Oger. Yes, I know the latest episode is late. I also post on a variety of social media platforms, including Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram, and I post on Tumblr. Links to all those in the description. This has been Modular Media's No Prize Podcast, your go-to podcast for comics, movies, merchandise, news, and more. I come here, listen to your comics.
Yeah.
We also have a bunch of our other podcasts, including Components, which is basically a midnight hang sesh. Shoot the shit, we fuck around, we find out.
There's guests.
Yeah, we have guests. We have a guest coming up this week. Oh, who's it going to be? I don't know if you mentioned it.
Citizen Hal, host of the Too Many Movies podcast, will be on this Friday on Modular Components.
That was a good episode. We clicked.
Yeah, I think I clicked with him harder than anybody else because that episode is just like 90% me and him debating various topics.
Yeah. We clicked comedy wise. I made some jokes that made him laugh real fucking hard.
Yeah.
We also have Analytical Fanboys, a monthly media cast where one of us will pick a piece of media, force the others to watch it, and then we have a discussion about it. This upcoming episode is going to be about
Scoob and Shag.
Scoob and Shag, the notorious, famous, and infamous webcomic.
Oh boy.
We also have another podcast called Twit. You want to tell the people about Twit?
Twit stands for This Week in Toku. It's a podcast where myself and Buster Corp discuss all the latest news and new releases from the wild world of Japanese special effects. Oh boy, what a week we got coming up. Now, we got several Toei Tokusatsu fan club specials got announced this week. We got some interesting information about various projects popping off. Team Rider did some stupid-ass shit that I'm going to lambast them for like I always did. And hey, Masahiro Inoue finally released the first episode of his independent Tokusatsu show, so we're going to find out how that turned out.
Yeah. And hey, if you want to see this podcast again and see many, many more, hey, give us a like, comment down below, tell us what you thought about comics this week. What do you think about us and our stupid faces? Tell us how fucking wrong we are about anything.
Mm.
Star Wars good. There you go. Argue against me with that.
Star Wars good, Gwenpool bye.
Um, and in the meantime, subscribe to the channel so you can see this podcast and many more. Do you have anything else you would like to say? The Leguminator?
I'm coming for you, bitch.
Enough said.